Morty, we need to go get the Szechuan sauce in my faded jeans. All right, you ready? Hey everyone, Garrett here from Naked and Famous Denim, back with another fun fade review. This one is the Pickle Rick from the Rick and Morty capsule collection. But before we get into those details, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, so as I mentioned before, these are the Pickle Rick jeans from the Rick and Morty capsule collection. Let's see, we got some notes in here. Let's see what they say. Okay, so these were sent in by Adam. He said he started to wear these for last year's Indigo Invitational, which, if you don't know, is a denim fading competition. He started on January 5th, 2024 and went to December 31st, 2024. So almost a full year wear, about 350 days. He washed them around 10 to 15 times. And they were worn in the Cayman Islands. That's pretty cool. So they were, he said he was dadding. So I guess that means being a dad, hot weather, tight fitting, played a lot of basketball with the kids, ocean soaked twice. Yeah, they're the Pickle Rick super guy. He removed the leather patch and later made a card holder out of it. Okay, interesting. So yeah, these are super faded. I saw a few Pickle Ricks on Reddit that were decently faded. I don't know if this was that pair. It might have been. But this is the most faded Pickle Rick that I have seen. So let's get into it. I'm curious to see what these have in store. Okay, so starting from the top here, it's hard not to notice the cool dual branded woven label Rick and Morty and Naked and Famous Denim on the top there. And then we have the waistband, which again also looks like he was wearing a belt because it's not very faded on the waistband at all. And I can see here a little bit of polishing on that button. So if I just undo it, you can see here that that side has been rubbing on something. And then this side is left like in new condition, more or less. I know some people online are getting mad at me because I say brassing, because it's like rubbing to the brass, kind of like on a vintage camera. But anyways, so these are polished or brassed on that side of the button, and then we can also see that brassing too on the I think this is antique copper or antique brass hardware, but we can see that brass color coming through on those rivets on both sides. And then we start to get into the fading on these, and it's very faded over the whole jean. And right away you're going to notice this intense slub yarn. So these are very slubby jean, and you get that vertical streaking, and it's got like an anime rain effect. That's how I always remember it. It looks like rain in an animated film. And you can see that these ones are not just a regular jean because they're actually a Greencast. So for the Pickle Rick, of course, the Pickle Rick is a green thing, so we thought it would be fun to do kind of a Greencast for that. So these ones have a green tinge to them, and you can see that right away because the faded area is kind of faded to a more yellow. The way the Greencast works actually is by doing a layer of yellow, and then when you combine that with the blue, yellow plus blue makes green. So anyways, you start out with this greenish color and eventually kind of fades to a blue and yellow. So these white areas, you have that yellowish color, which is super cool. Very tightly worn, as he mentioned. So you can see here, all the whiskers are very parallel. And here we have a little repair. So it looks like a little hole formed, and you know, he was very on theme. He repaired it with a little bit of green thread right there, because if you might think, oh well, it's that green weft that's breaking through. If you look on the inside, no, these don't have a green weft. What they do have though is the cool Rick and Morty pocket bags, which is kind of neat. These, you can see, they started out like more of a white color, and now because of the washing, that indigo has bled onto the pocket bag, so they're kind of a light blue color. All right, moving down. Again, heavy fading on the thigh area, so a lot of wear. He said a full solid year of wear, which, you know, if you're an active person, if you're a dad, if you're going outside, if you're doing things, 1 year of wear on your jeans every day is gonna fade them a lot, just like on this pair. Coming down to the knees here, we have, again, a lot of fading and 2 holes. On this side, just a small little hole forming, and you can still see those weft yarns bridging across that hole and more or less keeping it closed. But if he went much longer, these would probably start to rip as well. But on this side here, he actually did something pretty cool, whereas once it started to rip and those weft yarns were still there, he came in with a needle and thread and he did some darning. So he added basically some warp yarns back in, and you can see here he's used some green and some blue color ones as well, going back and forth, weaving in between those weft yarns to darn and do a little repair there. Not maybe the strongest repair, but a very cool repair. And I do like how it's on theme again with that green and blue color, so it matches that Pickle Rick look. Right over to the side here, you notice also there's some type of like green stain, probably some green paint or something, which I don't know, maybe that was an accident, but luckily it's green, so it's very on theme again with the Pickle Rick. Coming down here to the shins area, we can see just like light fading, but that slub yarn characters are coming through so nicely on these. I'm sure when people saw him wearing these, you would definitely turn heads and be like, oh, what are those? What is that fabric? It's so interesting. Coming down to the bottom, it doesn't look like he cuffed these at all, and they were a little bit, the inseam was a little bit long, so he's got a whole bunch of stacking fades on here, which is really cool. Really nice to see, like a full, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches of stacking on the bottom here, which is awesome. Coming down to the bottom, quite a bit of wear on the leg opening, but no failure. No, and then let's take a look at the selvage just so you guys know. Here we got that cool green, green, green. So it kind of like 2 different shades of green on that selvage edge. Pretty cool for the Pickle Rick. All right, let's come back. Let's go to the back and take a look there. So first thing you notice right away is there's the patch is missing. So I guess he took that patch off partway through the wear, because you can see here that it's a lot darker here, so it definitely was I don't know, maybe halfway through or something he decided to take that off, because the area surrounding it is a lot more faded. So it was protecting this area of fabric, and then eventually he took it off, turned it into a card case or a wallet, he said, and so now we have this kind of like ghost of where the patch used to be. Coming down, no major failure points. We got a little bit of ripping on the center bottom of the yoke here, and a small, very small hole forming on the bottom of the pocket. But again, just general seat fades. It looks like he had a wallet or something in this back pocket here as well. Now this is very interesting. So if we come over here, you'll see this was the embroidery of Pickle Rick, and Pickle Rick has been almost erased by the friction of this guy's butt on various things, because on this part here it's almost completely gone, and on this side it's almost worn away, but we don't see the lips or the eyes anymore, just kind of an outline of where that Pickle Rick embroidery used to be. So interesting evolution on that embroidery. Coming down to the bottom, again, more beautiful streaky fades, and just look how intense these honeycombs are. These are crazy. So very like dense, tight, highly detailed honeycombs, and then when you combine that with those slub yarns, it is just like very intense, very cool. I'd say competition level honeycombs on these for sure. Not super, super high contrast, but again, this pair is just a little bit of a lower contrast pair. He said that he washed them 10 to 15 times, so that's why the honeycombs are a little bit less contrasty. But you know, if you're in the Cayman Islands, it's probably very hot and humid. You don't want to be wearing your jeans for one whole year without washing. That is a recipe for disaster. Speaking of which, he actually avoided disaster because he didn't have any, he had some blowouts starting to form, but none of them kind of broke through. It looks like, I don't see any repairs here. Maybe there was some repairs. You know what, I think I take it back. It looks like there was some very small repairs. So he did do his due diligence and do a few small repairs on those guys. Yeah, he did. So very nicely done on the darning. So good so that I almost didn't even notice. But some small, delicate darning, it looks like, and he avoided catastrophe on his crotch. So again, beautiful honeycombs moving down. Wow, those are some pretty good calf fades. He must have some strong calves because you can see here quite a lot of fading on that part. And then as we go down here, there's more stacking fades. And look at this, interesting kind of like heel bite fade going on here. So yeah, these were obviously a little bit longer than his legs. So possibly this back area was dragging on the ground, or he was stepping on a little bit. Maybe he was wearing flip-flops or something at the beach. And so you can see there's like some dirt that's been impregnated in the fiber because it's a little bit brownish here on both sides. And then you have a little bit of wear and tear at the bottom as well. So there you go. Here's the front and the back. Pickle Rick Super Guys. Let's put the notes back. And I want to thank Adam for sending this pair in because this is a super cool pair to have in our collection. This is the first pair of faded Pickle Ricks that we do have. If you have a pair of jeans that you're not wearing anymore, send us an email, include some pictures of the faded jeans. If they're faded enough, we'll send you a free label to send them in. We'll put them here on the Eternal Wall of Fade. I'll do a fade review of them as well. And we'll send you a discount code for your next pair of jeans. If you made it all the way till the end, do me a big favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.